What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, we got to talk about it on this Christmas Eve. Washington goes down to the New York Jets 30-28 in a game where Sam Howell gets benched for the second time in a row. Second game in a row. Jacoby Brissett comes in and sparks life into the offense immediately. This is what I was concerned about because, like I told y'all, we needed Jacoby Brissett to go to the bench because there was a chance he could have won that game. And again, they almost won this game. But with that being said, it's now time to call a spade a spade. I understand, and I want to say this because this is me giving reprieve to a lot of the Sam Howell people, especially one guy in particular, and that's my man Cedric Moore. I noticed last week Ced didn't comment on the video, and I know Ced always comments on the video. The reason why I want to give Ced reprieve is because Ced was the first person to believe in Sam Howell. He was the only one prior to anybody saying anything about Sam Howell. He was the only one who was talking about, I remember he wanted Sam Howell to come in the Bears game. After the Bears game, he wanted Sam Howell to start the rest of the season. Ced was the only person who did that. And I think that the week before was Ced's acceptance of what was happening with Sam Howell. And I think that he didn't say anything and he didn't comment because, like I said, he was Sam Howell's biggest supporter. Before anyone else was saying anything about Sam Howell, Ced was the one who was talking about Sam Howell. And I think that for Ced, Sam Howell let him down. Sam Howell let him down in a big way because he was really, really one of those people who really thought that Sam Howell was going to be something special. Like I said, nobody was talking about Sam Howell the way Ced was. And I think it hurt him. I think it really hurt him to see Sam sit down in the previous game and Jacoby Brissett come in and run the offense. Now, here we are, a second game in a row, and the exact same thing happens. The offense is sputtering. He gets benched. Jacoby Brissett comes in, and they almost win the game. We now have to, and like I said, for my man Ced, you know, he's one of my day one guys. He was one of the first people to respond on my video when I was doing my videos. For my man Ced, like, reach out, Ced, because I understand that this broke your heart. I get it, and you deserve reprieve because it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? You really thought that Sam Howell was going to be something special, and understand this. It's nothing wrong with thinking that. It's nothing wrong with thinking that. But I think that what happened was that Ron sold everybody on a bill of goods. We saw what happened with Dwayne Haskins and how Ron basically crapped on Dwayne Haskins. You know, Dwayne, and like nobody talks about how Dwayne didn't get a full season in Washington at all. He never got a full season. Now here's Sam Howell. We saw Sam Howell struggle. There were a lot of things that happened with Sam Howell that we knew was a problem going in. And everybody ignored it. One commenter said something, and when I do my comment show, I'm gonna go back and remember who that was. But one commenter said maybe they thought Sam Howell was good in training camp because the defense was so bad. So what was happening was that they thought that Sam Howell was better than he actually was because he was facing such a bad defense in training camp. And now that you look at this defense and how the defense seems to get a spark once Jacoby Brissett comes in the game. But, I mean, because again, you're talking about Cody Barton gets an interception out of nowhere. And we're talking about this game changes when Jacoby Brissett comes in the game. So, again, maybe Sam Howell wasn't as good as people thought he was going to be. And maybe these players also was bamboozled as well. I think Terry McLaurin was bamboozled. I think Curtis Samuel was bamboozled. I think Jahan Dotson was bamboozled. I think Antonio Gibson was bamboozled. I think the offensive line was bamboozled because they all weren't in agreement about this being the season of just solely development of Sam Howell. And I think that when that happened, a lot of these players was like, wait a minute, we weren't on board with that. We were not on board for this to be a developmental season for Sam Howell. Some of us are free agents this year. And we want to showcase what we can do to other teams, not sit up here and be in a situation where we can't showcase anything because of the fact that we're developing a quarterback who, by the way, may not be as good as we want him to be. Now, again, like I said, I never wanted Sam Howell to fail. This is me giving more reprieve to the Sam Howell people. I never wanted him to fail. My concern was how many people were on the Sam is the franchise guy. No more coaching search, no more quarterback search. We found our guy. And a lot of times what was happening, and I said this prior to this, I said, y'all, don't say this because this guy needs work. He needs time. He needs a lot of stuff. And I think that a lot of fans who felt that we were getting off this quarterback carousel made the mistake of anointing somebody who wasn't to be anointed. It's not, I told y'all, I got on the quarterback carousel 1994. 1994. I was a person that I knew for a fact Charlie Ward was going to be the Washington quarterback, and he was going to be a fantastic one. And to this day, Charlie Casserly still has never answered that question on why he did not draft Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was the best quarterback in college and all that. The thing that happened with this, and understand, 1994 is a long time ago. As a kid, like I said, I've seen them win Super Bowls as a kid. I've never seen them win anything as an adult. Nothing. I've never seen them win a second round playoff game without Joe Gibbs. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen them win a playoff game without Joe Gibbs. Which is, I think North Turner won one. Yeah, North Turner won one. But again, we haven't seen that level of success in a very long time. And even when Joe Gibbs came back, we started to see success again, and then he was gone again. I understand what most people feel, but this is why I was saying, hey, y'all, we need to draft a quarterback in the first round. And I know a lot of people, and so many people are like, we got to build the trenches. We got to get a wide receiver. We got to move down in the draft. Understand this. An opportunity like this may not come around again. Understand that just as much as, yeah, you can miss out on a first round quarterback, but you can also not ever get up high enough to get a quarterback again. Say we go into next season with Sam Howell again, and he's playing just like he's playing now, and we win about 8-9 games. Now you're talking about we go into another year where now we're down towards the bottom of the first round of the draft, and we don't have an opportunity to draft any top level quarterbacks. Sometimes you got to take a chance, and you got to sit up there and take a guy that might be there. At this point, we don't know. There's a huge possibility that Washington can mess around and get the number 1 overall pick. Even though Carolina is losing, but still, there's a chance that Washington can get the number 1 overall pick. Number 1. Do y'all know how special that would be? To actually possibly draft Caleb Williams? Again, like I said, I don't want any of the Howlers to feel bad, because nobody in Washington wanted Sam Howell to fail. It's just that a lot of us who was against it was like, no, you guys are calling this guy a franchise guy, and he's not shown anything to be considered that. Like, everybody wants to bring up, the Philadelphia games. Guess what? We found out that Philadelphia was struggling defensively. We found that out. Philadelphia was struggling big time defensively. Even when we saw them the first game, and when we saw them the second game, they were not a solid team defensively. We got lucky, and understand, we got lucky, and we still got beat by them. And not only that, let's talk about the backup quarterbacks we've lost to at this point now. We lost to both the Giants backups, and now we lose to the Jets backups. Both New York teams, both teams that play in that MetLife Stadium beat us with backup quarterbacks. Let me repeat that. Both teams that play in that stadium beat us with backup quarterbacks. Not their starters, backups. Due to their starters being injured. Think about that. But it's time to call a spade a spade. Sam Howell, he still has 2 years on his contract with us. He's still here. But it's time to also realize that bypassing a quarterback in this upcoming draft, especially when you have a top 10 pick, maybe a top 5 pick, maybe a top 3 pick, is something you cannot do. You cannot bypass a quarterback in this upcoming draft. You just can't. Like I said, maybe if you're outside the top 10, maybe. Outside the top 7, maybe. But again, you're talking about there are some guys who are game changers that is coming in this draft. And don't get me wrong, I like Drake May. He's not a bad quarterback, but he's not the greatest. There are guys that are greater than him. There are guys that are better than him. There are guys that their potential could be something supremely special. That doesn't mean Drake May wouldn't be that. It's just that there are guys that, to me, are above him when you think about their abilities. Like I said, and again, I don't want people to think that this is me crapping on Sam Howell, because I'm not. Like I said, I didn't want him to fail, but I couldn't jump on the bandwagon of everybody else or the people who was saying he was our franchise guy and we don't need it and let's build up around him. As you can see, we can't. We can't build up around this guy. I told y'all, starting out, I said, y'all, don't believe these numbers. These numbers are not real. He's throwing a whole lot. As soon as he didn't have the opportunity to throw a whole lot, we now started to see what Sam Howell really was. Sam Howell, 40 plus attempts, is leading the league in passing. Sam Howell, under 40 attempts, is nowhere near what y'all want him to be. He's just not. And you can't rely on a guy like that to be a franchise guy. I mean, if y'all remember Jason Campbell, remember he threw for under 30 something times a game. I remember he used to have like, his average was like 100 and something yards. It wasn't even close to 200 yards a game. And yet and still we saw more from him. And this was a guy that was in and out of offenses every single year. But we saw more from him in regards to, okay, when there were games where he threw for a lot and he had a whole lot of yardage, but he also took care of the football. Sam Howell doesn't take care of the football. He just doesn't. And again, like I said, this upcoming draft, with seeing how Sam Howell has played in the 3 games that we've seen him, and now we got a very tough game in the 49ers coming up next week with Chase on the prime. You don't think that Chase Young is going to be even more amped for this game? He's going to be extremely amped for this game. This is going to be something that's going to matter to him a lot. So that is a problem for us. Again, like I said, let's call a spade a spade. Let's go into this draft and understand that a quarterback has to be on our board. Like, you cannot bypass one of these quarterbacks. You know, and I'm talking about, again, there's a chance you can have the number 1 overall pick. But even if you don't, Michael Penix is still a great player. Jaden Daniels, you're talking about, yeah, you're going to have to work on him in regards to him still developing as a quarterback, but his athleticism is out of the roof. Drake May, you're not really certain what you're getting there. You're not really certain if you might be getting another Sam Howell, but he's still a lot better potential-wise than Sam Howell. Some of y'all like Bo Nix. I can understand. Bo Nix, to me, is a product of the offense that is run in Oregon. But again, we can't bypass a quarterback in this draft. We just can't. And we can't take one late in the draft, and we can't take one in the second round. We got to get one of these top guys, these top boys, which, by the way, was one of my favorite shows on Netflix. But we got to get one of these top dudes. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I want to know what y'all think. And say, let me know how you feeling right now, man, because I'm worried about you, bro. Because, and this is me being honest with you, I'm really worried about you. You didn't respond on the last video, and you normally respond. Tell me what you're feeling right now, because I know it broke your heart. I know it did. I know it did, because you were one of the only, in fact, you was the only person talking about Sam Howell. I remember after the Chicago game, you made that comment on the videos talking about, instead of replacing him with Heineke, put Sam Howell in. You were the only person saying that. So tell me how you feeling, man, because I'm worried about you, bruh. You know, you my man. You my man. And like I said, when I ain't see your comment last week, I felt that your heart was broken when you saw what happened and Jacoby Brissett come in and run that offense. I know your heart was broken. So make sure you comment this time, say it, because I'm worried about you. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about Sam Howell now? 3 games. 2 games straight being replaced by Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby Brissett sparking that offense. And I want to end this by saying this first. This message is to Jacoby Brissett. If Ron asks you to start the next 2 games, tell him no. Not so we can get a higher draft pick, but because I don't want Ron making a statement of trying to win 2 more games. If the season was about developing Sam Howell, make Sam Howell play these games out. Put it on him. Put it on Ron. Make sure Ron understands that. Taylor Heineke had to do the exact same thing. And Jacoby, you should do it too. Jacoby, you should sit up there and say, I can't do it. I can't. This was supposed to be about Sam Howell. We already know what Jacoby Brissett can do. We see what he can do. We see that he sparks an offense. At this point now, it's 2 games left in the season. There's no reason for us to win. There's no reason for us to win. There are no points need to be proven. Jacoby, I need you to tell Ron no. I need you to tell him, hey, look, we need to let Sam Howell fight this through. Because again, 2nd game in a row, Jacoby comes in, wins it. Jacoby, you need to say no. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about Sam Howell's regression? It's not really regression. How do y'all feel about Sam Howell, period? Because we now see that if he's not throwing for over 40 plus times a game, he's not the same quarterback. And this is we're now seeing defenses and coaches catch up to what Sam isn't good at, and they're taking advantage of it. 2nd week in a row, we saw a head coach sweat bullets because Jacoby Brissett almost beat him. So, y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, and like I said, y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all tell me if this is going to be the thing that, if y'all tell me if a quarterback is on your mind in the draft now. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.